Hello. Oh, fine. It is the 13th of August 2026. It's a Thursday. Did you enjoy the eclipse? Did you see the eclipse? It was only after I mentioned it yesterday that I suddenly cottoned on. At that time of night, the sun's behind the houses opposite us. So we didn't actually, we noticed it got darker and, it got lighter again, but we didn't actually see it. So here's a couple of photos. First one from Joe, who I follow on Twitter, and this from Ant, who I follow on Twitter, both live in Barnsley. So get a rough idea of what I would have seen if I'd have been bothered to get out of the house. But I didn't, and I couldn't be asked to get out of the house. So there we go. Because I'm a lazy bugger. So then, on this day in history. So 12 years ago, I was readying myself to part company with Emily, one of my scooters, a absolute dream of a scooter she was. She was a PX Vespa that wasn't everything she was made out to be. She was a little bit more powerful than it was claimed in the advert, which don't get me wrong, I ain't complaining about. But it came as a shock when I opened her up coming home from, I bought her in Sheffield, Aberdale Road. And coming home on the A61, I had an opportunity to open the throttle a tad. And never want to miss an opportunity, I did. And discovered, oh my, she can shift. And she did shift. So yeah, I had a different scooter by then, or I was in the process of buying another scooter. So yeah, Emily had to go. So she was put up for sale. 11 years ago, Vicky called in and got our tickets to go and see Attila, the stockbroker, who was doing a gig in Barnsley. The gig's not until October, and I will tell you more about that and other circumstances around it when we get to it, but the tickets were bought and got. 10 years ago, this was a weird one. I'm not sure who we were playing, but I were at Oakwell, and it was just me and Vic, because Finn and his nan were on holiday. So it was bizarre to have two empty seats between me and Vic. Now, as will be the case on Saturday when we play Bromley for our first home game, I don't sit next to Vicky at the match. There's me, then to my left is Finn, then to his left is his nan, Vicky's mum, Jackie, and then Vic. Not for anything other than Vic and the mum talk. They talk football, they talk all sorts. But they talk. Me and Finn generally talk about the match. So we're not disturbed by everyday occurrences during the match. We sit in that order. Can't be doing with Not a bruise, no, just a light. That's a bruise. Look at that. Somewhere I had my blood taken the other day. So yes, that was 10 years ago. 6 years ago, I was doing some shows for Red Road FM. I'd been asked a few years before that. I was doing some radio shows for The Vibe in Barnsley, and Lee Barber, who was the guy that got me into The Vibe, was doing some shows for Red Road FM in Sheffield Rotherham. Because of the pandemic, because of everything being shut down and locked down and one thing and another, they were short of DJs. He knew I could do it. He knew I knew how to do it remotely. So I got the call or the text or the email, would you fancy doing me a show? So I did. I ended up doing 2 a week. And I loved them. I really did. I did the Rock and Roll Lounge and a Nod to Mod, which ended up just being Nod to Mod. But 5 years ago, as I was getting ready to do a show, I got a thing flagging me up on Facebook, which basically read this. Well, I'd said, that's decided then, a week Sunday, 22nd of August from 9 p.m. on Red Road FM, blah, 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 and around the world, and an advert for my Gents special that I was doing. It's 5 years ago. And I got a message, your comment goes against our community standards or spam. No one else can see your comment. We have these standards to prevent things such as false advertising, fraud, and security breaches. We're advertising a radio show on a legitimate FM station, and they marked it as spam. Mad. Absolutely crazy. 4 years ago, we were having a barbecue. So before we got the top box, or the big storage box, we managed to get the Sky working and the telly from the kitchen outside. So we were watching the football. Must have been the World Cup. We were watching the football in the garden whilst having a barbecue. And if I remember rightly, that night, we watched Grease in the back garden and had the neighbours looking over the fence because we were singing along. Over the wall. Over the wall, Vesson. 2 years ago, I found a mouse, bought a mouse bar, and it had no, what you can only, everybody describes as veins on the top, and it was completely smooth on the top. What's that about? Never had one before, never had one since. And then 1 year ago, in a box of bits that come from my mum and dad's, there were a couple of cameras. One's a Kodak, one was an Ilford brand I've never heard of. Whether they work or not, anybody's guess. They're still upstairs in a box amongst other stuff that I have yet to sift through and really, really must. I kept saying I was going to do it this week. I keep saying I'm going to do it next week. I think I'm going to do it maybe this weekend or beginning of next week. It needs doing. It really needs to have that much stuff. Most of it I probably won't be keeping. With a finite amount of space, as much as I love my mum and dad, and I said this to our Sarah, it's stuff. There's little bits and bobs that mean something to me. Like the reel to reel of my dad's, like the poppy that came from the Tower of London when they had all them little ceramic poppies in the grounds at Tower of London. We bought my mum and dad one, comes with certificate and everything. I wanted that just because my mum and dad were dead keen on Legion and one thing or another. But yeah, there's not a massive amount of stuff. There's nothing that I sat there saying I must have. If the reel to reel hadn't turned up, I wouldn't have been heartbroken. I might have been slightly miffed, but I wouldn't have been heartbroken. But yeah, it's stuff, and I don't need physical things to remember my mum and dad. I've got plenty of good memories up here of them, so to fill his house with all sorts of things, then I can't, it's all, if anything happened to me and Vic, it's only stuff that Finley and Georgie are going to have to sift through, and it's not fair on them. I said I wanted to go through everything because we're processing it and dealing with it. Because of the way I was this time last year, I was in no fit state. Still, even if she were doing it now, no fit state to go and sift through and climb into the loft and one thing and another. So I say has done a lot of it, and I think she's found it therapeutic to go through stuff. And she's taking stuff home to go through. Well, like I said, it's stuff. Mum and Dad aren't here anymore. Nothing's going to fetch them back. I miss them. I miss them every day. I think about them every day. You know, but we've got a couple of Christmas ornaments, decorations, you know, but again with that, my mum and dad's taste weren't our taste, so things wouldn't be, they'd look out of place. But we've got a couple of little bits that can go on tree, which, you know, is something to remember and buy every Christmas. But yeah, so also a year ago, the Wumps are doing pretty much what they're doing now, which is just legging because it's far too warm. Far too warm. Way too warm. But there we go. That is today in history, or this day in history. I'll get that right one of these days. So I Finley sent me a couple of photos yesterday. Their patio is almost complete. His father-in-law, Dave, Judd's dad, has been down and laid the slabs for him. There's only a few left to do. He says it's massive. I said, well, it's going to look big, Finn, but stand back, take a photo from near the house, looking at it, and it went. So he sent me this and says, no, it's still big, Dad. I'm like, you could fit another 6 between there and house. You've got lots of grass still. Asked him what he's going to do with gap at sort of like to the left of it, and they're thinking about getting a little metal-y type shed thing so they can put lawnmower and barbecue and stuff in, because they've got an outhousey type of thing inside the house. He says if they put all garden equipment and stuff in there, then they can put more household stuff in there. So yeah, they're well clued up, them kids, I'm telling you, it's frightening. But it'll be interesting to see it. They're thinking about getting a couple of sun loungers. They've already got garden furniture, they've had that. They got that not long after they got house, really. So yeah, it'd be nice to go around and see it when it's finished and hopefully be treated to a couple of burgers and some hot dogs and shit. That's about it. I'm considering a new phone. Some years ago, when I was working in the call centre, I was working for a certain phone company on upgrades. And there was a representative from that phone company that were constantly in. Charlie, who were called, a really nice bloke, and he knew that I liked my tech, and he were always dead good with sort of like giving me nudges towards things. He gave me, Finn's got it at the moment, he took it on over with him, he gave me this power pack battery thing, you know, as you do, power bank, I suppose you'd call them. Samsung one. That's who we work for. I work for a network, not for a phone brand. He worked for Samsung. So he gave me, I don't know what it come about, but he gave me And then when they first started talking about folding phones, I was like, oh God, Charlie, please, when you get one, I need to have a look at it. Being a massive fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, then seeing the Hitchhiker's film where they were a folding book, it was like, oh man, can you imagine a phone with a fold and a screen that, and they got them, and he showed me, and I fell in love, and eventually I did buy one of the first Galaxy Folds. I've still got it, it's upstairs. And the problem with it now, and it's the reason why I got my last phone, the Huawei, it don't open fully. It's like me and my wrist, I can't open my wrist further than that, so it won't go flat. Don't know what it is. I swore down I'd never have another. And then I saw this, the new Fold 8. Now, the Fold that I have, when it's open, it's lovely. It's like having a tablet. But when it's shut, it was quite thick and it was quite tall and like a TV remote shape. Whereas this, like a passport sized shape, and then opens up into a wide. Oh man, it's lovely. And the plan I'm currently on, I've currently got what I'm filming on at the minute. I've currently got a Pixel 9 Pro XL. It would be about a year much shorter than this, a tiny bit wider. And I've sat, and me being me, I do what I always do. I don't just think I want that and buying it. I look at things, I look at the differences, the pros, the cons of it. And my first thought this morning when I woke up was, will it fit in my gimbal? The thing that I hold, and this thing that moves around all over the place and follows me up and down and does everything that I need to do. Would it fit in that? And the answer initially was no, because of the size of it and the weight of it and one thing and another. But then I had a look, and the answer isn't no. The answer is indeed yes, it will, because it came up with a list of compatible gimbals or stabilizers, let's call them. So that's what they call them, that it would work with. And my Hohem X3 LE, which is the thing that I'm using, is compatible. So I had already looked at the prices and one thing and another, and I'm on a plan at the moment that means every 9 months, if I decide, oh, I like that new phone, I can swap my phone. It'll only cost me what it'll cost me, and it's going to cost, if I had to do it today, it will cost me £3 a month more than what it's currently costing me for this Pixel, which I don't think is too bad. And in 9 months' time, if I don't like the Fold 8, I said, well, tell you what, I'll swap it and I'll get something different. I love Samsung phones. I've always had Samsung phones. I love Androids. I only once had an iPhone and I hated it with a passion. Computers, I'm completely converted. I will never have anything other than Apple computing now. I've got, once my money comes through, I will be getting a new MacBook Pro and 2 new Mini Macs. That is a given, that is a said, that's agreed with the wife. I would not go back to a normal Windows PC ever again. But when it comes to Apple phones, I've had one, didn't like it. I prefer my BlackBerry over Apple. BlackBerry were a pile of dog poo. But yeah, one of them Blackberries that when you press the screen it actually moved and clicked. BlackBerry Storm, what it called? Something, I don't know, but anyway, I'm waffling again. So yeah, I might potentially be getting a new phone. watch this space. We'll see. And on that highlight of nothingness, I will bid you farewell, because I'm going to go off and continue watching World War II with Tom Hanks, the Sky documentary series. I think I'm on episode 7 now, maybe. My head's itching, I don't know why, I haven't got lights. I think it's the heat. I think I'm up in episode 7 now. Just done Pearl Harbor and then Battle of Midway. It's very, very good. It's not really teaching me anything other than anything different that I already know or didn't know. Tom Hanks, I think he might have had an hand in production of it and he narrates it, but it's very, very good. It really is quite good, and I'm enjoying it. I like to be educated, so you can never learn too much. So I will bid you farewell, and I will see you tomorrow, which will be Friday the 14th. TTFN.